My name is Julie Hang, and this is EBGB News. Today's date is November 24th, 2022. Our first breaking story today concerns the company Novacold, who are also known as Americold. Around noon today, a worker suffered critical injury by being struck by a falling bay door at its London location at 545 Sovereign Road, London, Ontario. Novacold, or Americold, has a facility here in London, but has its headquarters based at 745 International Drive, Brampton, Ontario. According to their website, they serve as a cold storage point and refrigeration for food producers and processors to store and move their goods to retailers. Novacold was a Canadian organization until it was acquisitioned by the American company Americold. This London facility was one of the many facilities they acquired in 2019. This situation is still unfolding, but we are still closely following the situation. On the scene of the London facility is our reporter, Nevada. What's happening over there, Nevada?
Thank you, Julie. So here we are live at Novacold, and this is the location at London. And this is one of the bay doors. This is the same place where the worker was critically injured by the malfunctioning edge door. Latest update. The Ministry of Labour is still investigating the scene, and we have received reports about the injured worker that the worker was in the process of unloading the shipment from the truck. Usually this is not an issue because how the edge door works is when you pull the cart, the door opens and stays open for 6 seconds unless something obstructs the sensor. When the door descended, it hit the worker and it failed to reverse. However, I managed to interview the co-worker who witnessed the incident. Roll the tape. Here we are with the key witnesses. Can you tell us what exactly happened at the incident?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, what happened was, I was going to give him the little pallet box thing. I went and gave it to him, and then I turned around to go do something, and then Naduni here was operating the H door, the crane, and I went and turned around to go do something, and then boom, it just happened. What can I say?
The codes are the only way to keep the door open, so besides the sensor.
Sir, ma'am, you're not permitted to speak to the press.
Mom, I'm on TV. Hello?
So that's all we have at the time of recording. We requested the CEO of Novacold for an interview, but there is no reply. Back to you, Julie.
Thanks, Nevada. The Ministry of Labour is expected to release a statement later today related to the incident. We will keep you updated. And that's all for the news for the day. Signing off. Today, on November 30th, 2023, we have an update on the Novacold situation. Novacold is on trial for failing to ensure the bottom edge sensor of the bay door was maintained in good condition. We have our reporter, Nevada, in front of the courthouse. What did you find, Nevada?
Well, Julie, the situation there was intense. The CEO was adamant, the Ministry of Labour was thorough. We just got news that the CEO is on their way out, and we're going to wait here for the CEO to come out and say what they have to say. What do you have to say about this?
Excuse me, do you have any remorse for what happened?
See, Novacold has always taken great measures to ensure health and safety of our employees, and our facilities are rated extremely high. No more further comments, please. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Do you have any remorse?
See, no more comments. Thank you.
That was ridiculous. Clearly the CEO is in no mood to say anything. But we just heard that the Ministry of Labor is on their way out. Let's run to get a word from them. Excuse me. Do you have any comments?
It's very clear that the victim has suffered greatly due to the incident that happened over at Novacold. It is honestly shocking to see how cool the CEO acted as the proceedings went down. But at the ministry, we pride ourselves in maintaining safe work environments across Ontario. It's really sad to hear that Novacold neglected to make sure that their monitors were functioning, even though they were repeatedly reported to have malfunctioned. Now we have to deal with the consequences of their neglect. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for your groundwork, Nevada. She has also reported on the final conviction that the final charge is that Novacold received a $65,000 fine and a 25% victim surcharge as required for the Provincial Services Act within Ontario. To get a better idea on the severity of the situation, we have Joseph, our occupational health and safety consultant. What is the significance of the charges Novacold faces today?
Basically, the charge that Novacold was convicted with was under Section 25, subsection 1, Clause B of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. This basically mandates or requires employers to provide equipment, materials, and protective devices to be within good condition. It's the legislative responsibilities of the employers to exercise due diligence and to make sure that equipment and processes are running, effectively and safely. So ensuring proper management of occupational health and safety, in other words, Novacold is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of all safety equipment within their own facilities. And the Ministry of Labor found out that they did not maintain this upkeep on the bay door, and because of that, the worker suffered a critical injury under their supervision. This charge today is to ensure that situations like this do not occur again, nor should it have.
Okay. What constitutes as good upkeep, if I may ask?
Yeah, I would say mainly any documented sign of malfunction should be met with an immediate requisition or precaution to repair the damaged equipment. The minute it breaks or has a hiccup, it should be inspected and replaced immediately. In cases like these, the equipment should have shown signs of not working previously. The employer neglected their duties under the Act and is now paying the price for it.
Okay, yeah. Are there any strategies that the employer could put into place to ensure corrective action, or anything that they could do to prevent the situation from happening again?
Most certainly, yes. As I mentioned earlier, reporting any issues is definitely a good first step to correct and prevent this from happening again. A second strategy would be that the employer would do well to conduct frequent inspections inside their workplace. I even made a recommendation that they should probably shut down the workplace for at least 2 weeks to inspect every corner and every inch of that workplace, making sure to find all the hazards and correct them immediately. Doesn't matter how much money they spend, you're going to do this, is what I recommended to them. We understand that with hazards, they are everywhere and we can't eliminate them, but we can mitigate them. So, as we mentioned earlier, it's the legislative responsibility to exercise the due diligence, especially on the employer's part. And so we want to make sure that's being applied to all provincially regulated workplaces. And that is why they got the fine. A preventative measure that we could put in place would be to establish a health and safety culture, a positive one, making sure that health and safety is talked about constantly in the workplace, the postage of policies inside the lunchrooms, outside of the office doors of management, basically anywhere where someone can physically see it. And integrating that into your open door policy as well, so that workers can report to their management while feeling comfortable. Another preventative measure that we can put in place is, I noticed that they didn't have a health and safety committee. So they would do well to integrate that into their workplace, and it's mandated by the law in the Occupational Health and Safety Act. It's in one of the sections. So with that being said, health and safety committees are beneficial for a workplace because they conduct frequent inspections throughout the year, whether it be monthly or quarterly, and any hazards or risks that they find is immediately brought to the attention to whoever is responsible, and corrective action is taken immediately in accordance to legislation. So that being said, with the health and safety committees, I really emphasized on that for them to kind of integrate in their workplace and to also educate workers as well about the IRS, which is the Internal Responsibility System, and eliminating any deficiencies and make sure to correct them this way so that no one else could be put at risk.
It's important to maintain a good culture to keep that safety well incorporated.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joseph.
No problem.
Yeah. That goes to show that safety in the workplace can go a long way. A little sensor in a little factory turned this worker's life upside down. That concludes our report on the incident. This has been Julie Hang for EBGB News. Have a good night. This would specifically relate to Chapter 4 within the textbook titled Hazards, Risk, and Control. This chapter specifically discusses the types of risks, hazards, and methods that you can identify and work to mitigate, similar to what Joseph has discussed earlier.